It kicked off with a text I hadn't seen coming. "Yo, bro, just a heads up, your card might look a little weird. We had to book some stuff last minute." That was my brother. Super casual. No explanation. Like spending $17,000 on catering, venue rentals, and hotel blocks in Miami was no bigger deal than grabbing a coffee. I was mid-sip, oatmeal cooling in front of me at my tiny kitchen table, still in my beat-up hoodie, trying to wake up before work. My laptop was open, and the subject line from my bank was staring me down. Unusual spending alert. Please review activity. I clicked. Line after line of charges started filling the screen. Galatech events. Ritz-Carlton Banquet Hall. A luxury photography company called Exquisite Moments. Not one of them rang a bell. None of them had anything to do with me. Then I scrolled further. Private jet service. $1,800. That's when my stomach bottomed out. Another ping. This time from my sister. "Hey, did you freeze the Amex?" I was trying to check out for the DJ equipment and it got declined. DJ equipment. At 6 a.m. I didn't respond. I just opened the app, locked the card, and began reporting the transactions. I shot off a message to the issuer, multiple unauthorized charges. Suspected family misuse. Need urgent investigation and replacement. By 6:41 a.m., the card was officially frozen. By 7, my phone lit up like a Christmas tree. What the hell is this? Are you serious right now? I've got a contract to finalize today. No, good morning. No, sorry. Just full-blown panic that the endless tap had been shut off. Then the real kicker came in. My brother called. No trace of guilt in his voice. "Man, I don't get why you're freaking out about this." He actually said that. "We figured you were good with it. You never said no before. You always come through." I sat there, heart pounding, letting that sink in. "You said I never said no?" I asked him, slow and steady. "Well," I said, "I just did." Done. By 8 a.m., I was already drafting a police report. By 9, my sister unloaded a storm of messages. "You ruined everything. We needed that event. Do you even care about this family? You can't just ghost us over something like this." Ghost them? I'd been their invisible ATM for years. Right then, the doorbell rang. I opened the door to find a big, heavy box sitting on the porch. No name. No return address. The delivery guy was already gone. Inside, it was all tissue paper, layered neatly. Sitting on top was a silver envelope. My hands were shaking as I tore it open. Inside was a thick, fancy card. The kind you get for some black tie charity gala. "In gratitude from everyone at LUX Media House. Thank you for sponsoring the 2025 gala weekend. Your discretion and generosity will not be forgotten." I just stood there reading it. What the hell? Beneath the paper was a gold-plated plaque. Engraved, "Patron of the Year, Elliot James." My name. In huge, proud letters. On something I never agreed to, never paid for on purpose, never even knew existed. There I was, on my porch, barefoot in my socks, plaque in hand, trying to make sense of it all. Suddenly everything started coming together. My sister's late-night texts asking for tiny favors. My brother's random flights to LA every couple of weekends. That weird drop in my credit limit last month that I'd brushed off as probably just some billing error. This wasn't a one-time thing. They'd been at this for months. Quietly. Repeatedly. Confidently. And they were right. I never said no. For years, I played the fixer. The one who could be counted on. When my brother dropped out of business school and chalked it up to burnout, I co-signed a student loan he never bothered to repay. When my sister decided to launch a startup, I covered 3 months of her rent so she could focus on her brand. Every single time they hit a wall, I was the one writing the check. Every time they said, "family," I shut my mouth and opened my wallet. Because I felt guilty. Because I made more money. Because they never let me forget how proud mom and dad were of me. The one with the job, the mortgage, the quiet, steady life. Because somehow, they made me believe I owed them for having my life together. And now, my phone just wouldn't quit. "Bro, can we just talk?" Don't make this a big thing. My sister, I'm your family, Elliot. We created memories with that money. You're really gonna throw it all away over a couple of parties. Memories? I wasn't even invited. I walked laps around my living room, still holding that shiny plaque, my distorted reflections staring back at me. And the more I thought about it, the more pieces clicked into place. That time my credit score dropped 20 points out of nowhere, my brother had shrugged it off as probably just a glitch. 2 Uber Eats accounts tied to my card in the same month. Oops, must have been a mix-up, my sister had said. The hotel booking alerts for Vegas that popped up on my phone. Someone must be using your name, they told me. Better call the bank. It wasn't carelessness. It was confidence. Confidence I'd given them by never pushing back. I had trained them to think they had round-the-clock access to my money. So when I finally shut the doors, they weren't regretful. They were furious. Not a trace of shame. Just outrage. I opened my laptop again. Logged into my account. Clicked on the fraud tab. There were more than 40 suspicious transactions. Some were under their real names. Some had fake ones. But all of them led to the same billing address. I selected every last charge. Hit report fraud. Disputed them. Revoked all authorizations. Then I opened another tab. Reset every password. Deleted their devices from my phone plan. Cancelled the Netflix they'd been mooching off since 2021. And finally, the big one. I pulled up my Amex authorized users. 2 names. Jennifer James. Ryan James. My sister. My brother. I hovered over each name. And one by one, I removed their access. A notification popped up. Then, not even a full minute later, another message from my sister. My access is gone. What happened? I stared at the screen for a second, then started typing. You said I never said no. I just did. Simple. Then I turned off my phone. Dropped down onto the couch. And for the first time in a long time, I just sat there and breathed. My hands were still shaking, but not out of fear. It felt more like something cracking open inside me. Like I'd finally broken the chain that had been tugging tighter and tighter every single year. That's when I noticed another box sitting near the door. Smaller than the last one. No name. No label. I opened it slowly, half expecting more useless gala leftovers. But instead, taped to the inside flap, was a yellow sticky note. This was never supposed to blow up like this. Sorry. Shay. Below that was a stack of cash. 50s and 100s, bundled loose, a good 3 inches thick. And resting on top of the pile? My spare credit card. The same one I thought I'd misplaced 2 months back. It looked worn, scratched from use. On the back, a greasy fingerprint and a smudge of cheap gold body glitter. I stared at that cash like it might burn through my hands. The irony hit like a punch straight to the chest. After everything they drained from me, after everything they took without asking, they thought a wad of wrinkled bills and a post-it apology would somehow make things right. I stayed there on the couch, just staring, not moving. Could have been 30 minutes. Could have been longer. All that time, I didn't speak. Didn't flinch. Just sat there letting the weight of everything they'd done, everything I'd allowed, settle on me like a soaking wet coat I'd finally stopped trying to shrug off. All the moments I said yes when I wanted so badly to say no. Every birthday they didn't show up for. Every half-assed apology text that always came too late to matter. The promises to pay me back that never came through. The guilt trips, the manipulations. The way we're family was always delivered like a demand, never a comfort. I turned my phone back on. 58 unread messages. Almost all from my sister. Jennifer, you changed the login? Why would you lock me out? You're seriously overreacting. We needed that card for business expenses. Ryan is freaking out. Fix this. Then came the one that flipped the switch in me. You always think you're better than us. Just 'cause you've got a boring job and a condo doesn't make you superior. That one hit hard. But I didn't answer. I just grabbed my keys and got in the car. Drove straight to the house we all grew up in. The place I hadn't stepped inside since Mom's funeral. I knew they'd be there. That's the thing with people like Jennifer and Ryan, they're predictable. Cut off their supply, and they scramble like kids caught stealing cookies. I pulled up to the curb, parked, and sat there gripping the wheel like it might keep me steady. Then I climbed the steps and knocked. The door opened right away. Ryan stood there, already looking defensive, like he'd been practicing what to say. Elliot. I didn't wait. I brushed past him without a word. Where is she? Jennifer was in the living room, still in her old pajamas, hair thrown up in a messy bun, phone in hand. Her eyes were puffy, but not from crying. No, she was angry. You made a huge mistake, she snapped. Do you even realize what you've done? I kept my voice steady. Yeah. I cut you off. You froze the card in the middle of planning the event. Do you know how bad that made us look? You mean the event I knew nothing about? The one you charged to my name. She folded her arms, chin high. It's not like we were buying yachts, Elliot. It was for networking. For the business. What business? I asked. She hesitated. I laughed. Exactly. There was no business. Just the two of them throwing elaborate parties and pretending they were influencers. Ryan stiffened. We were building a brand. On my credit, I shot back. Jennifer stepped closer, voice rising. You never said no. Not once. You always helped. So you assumed I never would, I finished for her. You assumed I'd never wake up. I pulled an envelope from my jacket and dropped it on the coffee table with a hard smack. Inside was everything, the full fraud report, copies of all the disputed charges, and a breakdown of the damage to my credit. Jennifer glanced at it, then quickly looked away. I'm reporting all of it, I said. Every dollar. Every fake invoice. Every shady purchase. You want to live like scammers? Then face the heat when the person you conned presses charges. Her voice cracked. You wouldn't. Ryan's face went pale. Try me, I said. Jennifer stepped toward me, voice shifting into that soft, syrupy tone she always used when she wanted something. Elliot, come on. We're family. You'd report your own sister? I met her eyes. I was family when you used my name without permission. I was family when you looked me in the face and lied. I was family when you stole $17,000 and didn't even invite me to the thing you bought with it. Her lip trembled. But I wasn't done. I was family when I paid for Mom's hospice care while you two were in Cabo networking. I was family when you called me at 3 a.m. needing rent, and I wired it without hesitation. I was family when I lent you my car because yours got repossessed. But the second I finally draw a line, suddenly I'm not family anymore? Ryan finally spoke. We didn't think you'd ever cut us off. You're always the one who fixes it. I cut in. Yeah. I was. Not anymore. Jennifer's whole demeanor changed. The mask dropped. So what now? She snapped. You get to be the martyr? The hero? You want us to grovel? Cry? What do you want from us? I took a breath. Nothing you say is gonna make me feel better. Because this isn't about payback. It's about something I've never gotten from either of you. I let the silence stretch. Looked at both of them. Respect, I said. And they had no answer for that. I never said no. I should have. A long time ago. I turned toward the door. That's when I heard her voice behind me. Correct. Unsteady. Please, don't do this. I stopped. For a second, she didn't sound like the person who had lied, guilt, and used me for years. She sounded like my sister. The one I remembered from way back. Before the games, before the manipulation. But I kept walking. I already did. And with that, the door clicked shut behind me. The silence that followed wasn't heavy. It wasn't even sad. It was just still. I wasn't angry anymore. Just worn out. Tired of always being the one who kept everything from falling apart. The responsible one. The safety net. The steady brother who cleaned up the messes no one else would admit they made. I drove straight home, grabbed the award, the envelope of cash, and the glitter-smudged card, packed it all into an old shoebox and dropped it off at the nearest police station. Let them sort it out. I was done. That night, I didn't check my phone. No buzzing. No guilt. No last-minute fire to put out for somebody else's emergency. For the first time in a long, long time, I just slept. And I woke up feeling something unfamiliar. Free. 3 days. That's how long the silence lasted. No texts. No calls. No cryptic Instagram stories. No vague quotes trying to guilt me into crawling back. Just quiet. So quiet my ears almost rang from the absence. And I realized I liked it. No one waking me up at 2 a.m. with a, "Hey bro, real quick." No surprise visits. No borrowed printer that somehow turned into an uninvited weekend stay. The first morning, I woke up with the sun, not an alarm. My phone was still on the nightstand, untouched. And for once, I didn't feel the need to check it. I just lay there, staring at the ceiling, soaking in the quiet. And I felt something I hadn't felt in years. That day, I made a real breakfast. Not a granola bar in the car. Eggs. Toast. Fruit. I sat at my kitchen table with music playing soft in the background, no one else's mess to clean up, no guilt sitting in the corner. That afternoon, I cleaned house, the digital kind. Deleted my Venmo history. Wiped old shared logins. Called the bank and finally removed every name from the emergency fund account I never should have shared in the first place. Day 2, I picked up my guitar, the one that had been collecting dust in the corner like a forgotten version of myself. I was rusty. Really rusty. But it didn't matter. It felt good. Felt like mine. Day 3, something unexpected happened. A package showed up. Not from Jennifer. Not from Ryan. It was from Mom. I stood at the door just staring at it, trying to decide if I should open it or toss it straight into the bin with every other reminder of how far things had fallen. Eventually, I opened it. Inside was a handwritten letter. I didn't know they were using your card. I believed them when they said they had it under control. I thought you were just being your usual generous self. I'm sorry I didn't ask more questions. I'm sorry I didn't protect you. Here's what I could put together. I sold some jewelry. It's not much, but it's a start. Please don't disappear completely. Mom. Underneath the letter was a small envelope of cash. Maybe $500. But it wasn't about the money. It was the first time someone in that family had said, "I see you." That same night I checked Facebook. Jennifer's account? Gone. Ryan's too. No more influencer photo dumps. No fake business retreat selfies. No brunch pics at restaurants I knew they couldn't afford. Just silence. Later, a cousin filled me in. Jennifer's event brand collapsed. Ryan was being investigated for misuse of personal data. Probably mine. I didn't reach out. Didn't gloat. Didn't ask for details. I let the system do what it does. Let them see what it feels like when someone else sets the rules. And with that, something shifted in me. The pressure that had been riding my chest for years? It finally started to lift. I started living again. Not surviving. Not dodging emotional landmines. Living. I booked a solo weekend trip. Nothing crazy, just a cabin in the mountains. I turned my phone off. Lit a fire. Sat under a sky full of stars I hadn't bothered to look up at in years. One morning, sipping coffee on the porch, I got a voicemail from an unknown number. A woman's voice. So, careful. Hi. You don't know me. I'm Kaylee. I used to date Ryan. I just wanted to say thank you. I know you probably don't want anything to do with us. But I found out everything he was doing, with your money, your name, all of it. I left when I realized how badly he was using people. But you were always kind. You don't know this, but when I left, I used your name at the shelter. Because I didn't have anyone else. They called you. You didn't answer. But it meant something that your name still meant safety to someone. I stood there on that porch for a long time, listening to that voicemail over and over again. And I smiled. Not a bitter, victorious smile. Just a quiet one. Because in the end, I hadn't lost anything that mattered. I'd let go of what was never mine to carry. It's been 6 months. 6 months since I finally said no, and meant it. Since I stopped being the fixer. The fallback. The human ATM. Since I shut the door and let the silence echo. You'd think walking away from your own family would leave some jagged hole. That I'd feel empty. But the truth? I feel more whole now than I ever did when I was tangled up in that mess. My days are mine again. I wake up when I want to. Not when someone else's disaster needs my attention. I go for walks. I cook real meals. I play my guitar without feeling guilty about it. I read. I rest. And I sit in silence without flinching. 2 months ago, I started therapy. Just once a week. And for the first time in my life, I'm finally getting to know the version of myself that isn't responsible for everyone else's broken pieces. Nothing dramatic happened. But it helps. Dr. Raymond, my therapist, said something in our very first session that's stuck with me ever since. He told me, being needed is not the same as being loved. Man, that hit me like a brick right in the face. Because for years, that's exactly how they kept me hooked, by always needing me. Always stuck in some kind of crisis or mess. Always dangling that emotional bait. We love you. You're a rock. You're the only one we can count on. But love? Love isn't supposed to feel like a chain. Like a contract you never signed, but are expected to honor forever. That's exactly what it was though. A silent contract of obedience. I give, they take. I ask for nothing and they give nothing back. I set no boundaries, and they walk right through every open door like they own the place. No more. Dr. Raymond made me write a list, all the things I'd thought love meant. I wrote down words like sacrifice. Saying yes even when I didn't want to. Fixing problems quietly. Being the strong one. Not complaining. Paying bills just this once. Showing up. Boys. No matter what. Then he had me cross out every single thing that wasn't actually love. By the end, my paper was nearly blank. The fallout? Well, it's been exactly what I expected, and strangely quiet. Jennifer hasn't spoken to me since. Last I heard, she moved back in with some college friend. Her social media went private. I don't know if she ever truly apologized. And honestly, I stopped waiting for that. Ryan tried to reach out once. A weak email begging to just move on. We're family, he said. No mention of the fraud. No apology. Just a tired appeal to nostalgia, like that alone should wipe away tens of thousands of dollars stolen and years of disrespect. I didn't reply. Mom still sends me cards now and then. I think she's trying. Simple notes. Birthday wishes. Thinking of you messages. Sometimes, a little cash tucked inside. Which I always send back. I told her gently in one of our last talks, "You don't owe me anything, Mom. But I'm done carrying everyone else." She cried. Said she understood. Time will tell if she really does. The house is quieter these days. Not the cold, lonely kind of quiet. The peaceful kind. The kind that settles deep inside your chest. The kind that finally lets you breathe. I replaced my credit cards. Rebuilt my score. Got a raise at work. Not huge, but enough to plan a little vacation this fall. Somewhere calm. Somewhere with trees. I started volunteering once a month too. At a local shelter for teens aging out of foster care. Just small things. Helping with resumes, job applications. One kid asked me last week, "Why do you come here?" I told him, "Because nobody should ever feel like they only matter when they're useful." He nodded slow, then said, "Yeah, my uncle's like that." I said nothing. Just gave him a ride home. Later he texted me, "Thanks for not making me feel like a burden." That message meant more than all the empty thank yous my family ever mumbled after I bailed them out for the 100th time. Sometimes I still think about that box. The one Jennifer sent back. With the scratched up credit card and the crumpled stack of cash. I kept it. Not to remember what they did, but to remind myself what I will never let happen again. That glitter smudge on the card? I could never get it off. Now when I see it I just laugh. Because it's proof. Proof that I finally said no. Proof that I chose myself. That I stopped trading my peace of mind for their approval. Stopped accepting guilt as payment. Stopped letting being needed stand in for being valued. I don't have to be the good son. The selfless brother. The family's safety net. I just need to be me. And you know what? I'm finally okay with that. Actually, I'm proud of it.